Napa is pricey for good Cabernet Sauvignon. It is pricey. So Stag's Leap Winery. Okay, so Stag's Leap Winery is over here. So there are two different wineries: Stag's Leap Cellars, Stag's Leap Winery, completely different producers. But this guy here comes in at a price point of about $62, $63. He's gone up in the last decade. Okay, he used to be coming in at 45, then he went up to 50, and now he's at $62, $63. So hello everybody, and welcome back to Wine and Whiskey with Steve. It is Monday night, game nights. Trivia night for us, game night for the Raptors. We're down 3-1 in the series, but I think good things are going to happen tonight. So we are Monday, April the 25th, and we're here for round 2 of our trivia answers. So, without further ado, drum roll please. Thank God we have iMovie, right? iMovie can can take care of that for us, right, Maestro? So guys, just a heads up. So Maestro's been giving me a hard time with your questions. She thinks they're a little bit too easy. So moving forward, we're going to increase the level of rigor in the questions. So we've gone through grapes. Regions is what we're looking at right now with the answers. And then following this, this short episode, we have vocabulary. Okay, so again, vocabulary for this week is going to be easy. According to Maestro standards. After that, the following week's level of difficulty is going to increase. Okay, so don't blame me, blame Maestro. I was trying to, ease everyone into the trivia, trying to build some confidence, build some self-esteem, But looks like Maestro wants to crush you. So after the vocab, we're going to crush you. Okay. So I have some wine beside me. It's distracting me. I keep looking at it. The color is beautiful, and yes, but we'll get to that in a second. So without further ado, let's take a look at questions from our regions, and let's see how you guys fared with your responses. Okay, so the first question we had, question number 1, actually has to do with what we have in the glass over here, which is pretty cool comparison. So Syrah, okay, Syrah, the main grape in red wines. But from what region? What region typically has 100% Syrah in them? Is it A, the Northern Rhone of France? Is it B, Rioja, Spain? Is it C, Tuscany, Italy? Or is it D, our friends to the south, Niagara, Canada? So hopefully you guys said A. Okay, so Syrah, we're looking at the Northern Rhone in France. And for the Northern Rhone in France, they're very, very, very famous for their Syrah, especially the region of Hermitage. In Hermitage, you have wines that are made with 100% Syrah, and the type of wine that you're going to get there is going to be very full-bodied. It's going to be smoky. You're going to have notes of tobacco. You're going to have notes of a little bit of olive, okay? And these wines can be quite pricey wines. You're probably looking at an entry point of $50 up to $200 for a wine from Hermitage. Now, the Northern Rhone, if we go all the way up to the peak of the Northern Rhone, we have Côte-Rôtie. And wines from that region, entry point, you're probably looking at about $100 up to $400 for a wine from there. Now there, what they do in Côte-Rôtie is that they blend a small percentage of their Syrah with Viognier. Okay, maybe like 3%, 2%, very, very small amount. Now the wines from this region, you're going to get a lot of hickory smoke. You're going to get again a little bit of olive. You're going to get like a pancetta bacon fats type of a flavor in it. Very, very, very well structured wines, very tannic wines. Again, coming from old vines, good amount of time in good expensive French oak. So yeah, Syrah, very, very big in the Northern Rhone. And when it comes to stylistically, similar wines like this around the world, we have over here Creekside. So Creekside is a winery in Ontario, Canada, Niagara, and they do a couple of variations of their Syrah. They have one that is called the Broken Press, which is what is a similar style to what they do in 𝗪𝗏, where they're putting a small splash of Viognier blended in with their Syrah, and then they do about, I think it's around 20 months or so, don't quote me, I know, maybe wrong, 20 months in a mixture of Hungarian and French oak. Okay, and then they do an unbroken press Syrah, which is 100% Syrah. Okay, and in this guy here, he's very brooding. He's very brooding. He's very smoky. You get a little bit of black raspberry, a little bit of blueberry in there. There is licorice components, a little bit of tar. So he's a very meaty wine. He's a meaty wine. Okay, so very, very good wine. Price point for this guy is about $55. Okay, so he's not really entry level Syrah. This is good top quality Syrah from Ontario. And if you want to compare that with something affordable and accessible from the Northern Rhone, we can look at over here Mr. Chapoutier. Okay, Mr. Chapoutier, again, his क्रौज़ Hermitage, I believe it was released in the last vintages. He's about $31 to $32. Okay, and so क्रौज़ Hermitage is a region in the Northern Rhone. It's actually the largest region in the Northern Rhone in terms of producing Syrah wines. The type of wine that's going to be in your glass here is going to be less brooding and less meaty than Hermitage wines or wines from Saint-Joseph or Cornas. The wines here are going to be a little bit more to the red fruit and I don't want to say sour, but they do have a little bit more of a sour edge to them in terms of the fruit in this wine. But still, you're going to get your black olive. You're going to get a little bit of smoke in it. Okay, so he's a nice, good entry-level क्रौज़ Hermitage. If you haven't had 100% Syrah from the Northern Rhone, it's definite value in glass. And you can compare that with the Creekside, or you can compare that with a Syrah that you like to drink. So, and what I have beside me over here is the formula Shiraz, not Syrah, but Shiraz. So they call Syrah in France, but then, you know, as you go outside of France to countries of the New World, such as Australia, we have Shiraz. It's pricey for good Cabernet Sauvignon. It is pricey. So Stag's Leap Winery. Okay, so Stag's Leap Winery is over here. So they're two different wineries, Stag's Leap Cellars, Stag's Leap Winery, completely different producers. But this guy here comes in at a price point of about $62, $63. He's gone up in the last decade. Okay, he used to be coming in at $45, then he went up to $50, and now he's at $62, $63. So, and what I have in front of me here is a producer that produces a very good Shiraz. So this is Small Gully, and this is called the Formula. And I've been cellaring and tasting these wines going back to, I think, 2006. So if we go down to the cellar downstairs, I have some 2006, 2008, 2009, 2010. So this is a 2009 over here I was able to pull out without hurting myself from all the wines we have down there. And then here we have the 2018, which is available on the market right now at the LCBO. So this is going to be a nice episode that we're going to do in the upcoming future. What happens to wine as it spends time in the bottle. Okay, 2009, 2018. How's it going to change color-wise? How's it going to change palate-wise? Is it going to be worth, you know, keeping this guy in the bottle for as long as I kept him? Okay, is he going to be spoiled? Is he going to be value in the glass still? I don't know. So tune in upcoming weeks to find out if we're going to have value in the glass when we crack this 2009 versus the 2018. Okay. Let's put this dusty guy away over here so I don't knock him over. So we're at Vineland, one of our favorite restaurants, and we're having lunch, dinner over there, and every time we go, awesome service, quality of food, top notch. So the waiter is recommending some type of a burgundy to pair with mushrooms on toast. What kind of wine are they going to bring to your table? Is it going to be A, Viognier? Is it going to be B, Pinot Noir? Is it going to be C, Chardonnay, or D, Semillon? And the answer is C, Chardonnay. Okay, Chardonnay plays a starring role in white Burgundy. Okay, it takes the lead. In this case, your waiter is going to bring you probably something from the 𝗪𝗶·hes region in Burgundy. And the reason for that is the 𝗪𝗶·hes region in Burgundy is towards the south. So it's a warmer climate. You're going to have a little bit more riper fruits. And what they do stylistically with their wine there is they ferment the Chardonnay in oak, and they'll also mature it in oak. Now, it doesn't mean they ferment 100% of the Chardonnay in oak and then mature 100% of the Chardonnay in French oak. Normally, they'll do blended portions, so maybe 20% in oak, 80% in stainless steel. So the style that you have here is not over the top buttery, over the top sweet vanilla apples. Okay, here you're going to have a very well structured toasty brioche flavor in the mouth, a little bit of apple, a little bit of lemon. Okay, don't get confused this style of oaked wine with what you would find in a Napa Valley Chardonnay. Okay, they're using a lot more American oak, and the fruits are riper there, and it's a completely different style of wine. So in this style of wine from the Macon region of France, you're getting a very well structured, sweet and savory wine that's going to pair well with your mushrooms on toast. So good examples of this, we have Mr. 𝗪𝗏. Okay, 𝗪𝗏 was a very nice Chardonnay, very accessible price points. I think we're looking at about $28. Okay, if I'm correct, $28 for this guy. So yeah, excellent buy, and you can compare that old world 𝗪𝗏 with 𝗪𝗶·ھ. Okay, 𝗪𝗶·ھ makes an exceptional Chardonnay. Again, it's seeing a little bit of time fermenting in oak, sometime maturing in oak, in French oak, but it's not 100%, right? There's a balance between oak and stainless steel, so you get nice varietal of the Chardonnay coming through in terms of apple, a little bit of pineapple, but you do get that nice toasty brioche flavor from the French oak. So great buy, 𝗪𝗶·ھ. $20, still $2 off. Actually, I think today was the last day of the sale, so if you missed it, you missed it. But $20 and $28, good expressions of New World versus Old World Chardonnay. Question number 3, Sangiovese, Mr. Sangiovese. This is the prime player in terms of grape variety in wines. From which country are we looking at? Is it A, Tuscany, Italy? Is it B, Piemonte, Italy? Is it C, Napa Valley? Is it D, Sardinia? And the answer is Tuscany. I hope 100% of you got this one right, because we did an awesome episode on the blood of Jupiter, Sangiovese. So make sure you tune into that guy. So this is the main grape in Tuscan wine. So Sangiovese is used to make Chianti. Sangiovese is used to make Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. Okay, those are the Sangiovese is a prime player in those wines. Now, one of the reasons why the Sangiovese grape is so popular and so planted throughout Italy, okay, not just in Tuscany, you find them in Umbria, you find them all over the place. And the reason for that is because Sangiovese produces a wine that is medium bodied and has high acidity. Okay, and the high acidity is very, very important when it comes to pairing with food. The acidity neutralizes salt, but it also cuts through sauces. Okay, so lots of tomato sauces. You know, tomatoes are used to make a lot of sauces in Italy, right? Whether you're doing a pasta, you're doing a pizza, and we know tomatoes have citric acid. They're high in acid, right? So Sangiovese is a perfect complement for this type of cuisine. Now, what are we looking at in terms of wines that are good expressions of Sangiovese? 𝗪𝗏, baby. Did an episode with this guy in a Sangiovese blind tasting, and he blew me away. $18, only $18 for this guy. He's coming through vintages, okay, so he's not available all year round. So he was released a few weeks ago. Go get this guy. You're not going to be disappointed. $18, good expression of Sangiovese. Only like 3 months in the bottle, okay, so there's no wood influence with this guy at all. So you're getting, boom, cherry, you're getting leather, you're getting cherry, you're getting leather, cherry, leather, cherry, leather, some herbs, okay, maybe a little bit of thyme in there. Yeah, and I tasted a little bit of bitter orange peel when I had them that time too. Okay, very, very pale in color. The color's gonna blow you away. They're gonna be like, what, this is wine? It almost looks like rosé when you pour it. Okay, but trust me, it is red wine and it's very good value. In Canada, no 𝗪𝗏𝘃 here. There's a couple of producers that experiment with 𝗪𝗏𝘃, but what I'm gonna recommend here is kind of like what I see as our North American 𝗪𝗏𝘃, which is gamay. Okay, again, so medium to light bodied, but high acid. Okay, and pairs very, very well with food. Earthy, mushroomy, and you get a little bit of there's cherry in there. So very, very nice grape. Pairs well with food, like I said, but Angel's Gate here does it in an exceptionally accessible price point. 15 bucks. 15 bucks. I think he spends about 12 months in French oak as well. Okay, so you are going to get a little bit of smoky notes on this guy, but it doesn't overpower the fruit. The fruit is still there. Okay, if you want, more fruit to be expressed, just leave it in the glass for about 20 minutes before you drink. Okay, or decant for an hour, and you're good to go. So both these guys, pair these with. I like these with because I find them very earthy, right? So a little bit of mushroom and some type of salumi, right? Whether you have prosciutto or you have a salami or you have chorizo, okay, and a little bit of some cheese, some nice sharp cheese, salty cheese. So again, Parmesan, okay, beautiful, good to go. Okay, question number 4, 𝗪𝗶, and I'm going to do a quick shout out to Mr. Miles Carlisle. One of our dedicated viewers out there who gave me the correct pronunciation for 𝗪𝗶 from watching our last video. So thumbs up to Miles. So 𝗪𝗶 Valley is a region in which country? Are we looking at A, Argentina? Is it B, Chile? Is it C, Spain? Or is it D, Ecuador? And I'm hoping you guys went with B, Chile. So this guy here is close to Santiago, and 𝗪𝗶 is known for its Cabernet Sauvignon. And one of the nice things about the Maple Valley, 𝗪𝗶, I say 𝗪𝗶, it's just easier to say maple. Sorry, 𝗪𝗶 Valley is very south. And if you're south, you're gonna have warmer climate. Warmer climate means riper grapes. So in terms of good value Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile, first you're gonna find a lot of good value Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile, especially in 𝗪𝗶 Valley. But this guy over here, Santa Rita, I think Santa Rita Secret Reserve, he's called. Only 15 bucks, 15 bucks. And he's a nicely balanced Cabernet Sauvignon. There's not too much oak in him, only 8 months in French and American oak, but only 60%. Okay, so 60%, 8 months French and American oak, and then the other 40% in stainless steel. So that way you still retain the good varietal characteristics of your Cabernet Sauvignon. So in this guy, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get lots of cassis, okay, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of herbs, a little bit of bell pepper, okay, a little bit of cedar. Very nice, very well balanced, can't go wrong for 15 bucks. Now, again, another New World wine. So Chile is New World wine, Canada is New World wine, 𝗪𝗏. Okay, now 𝗪𝗏 does a very, very nice entry level, which is what this guy is, because his price point is only 16 bucks, okay? And it's about a 50-50 split between Cab Sauv and Cabernet Franc. So you're gonna get your nice cassis in there from the Cabernet Sauvignon. You're getting a little bit of raspberry in there from the Cabernet Franc, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of vanilla. Very, very well done. Now, another shout out to 𝗪𝗏. They do a reserve Cabernet Sauvignon, and I think it's actually going to be featured later on in the answers. So maybe I'll hold back on that. But this version over here of 𝗪𝗏 Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc at 16 bucks is a must buy. Okay, what do you want to pair this with? Any type of beef, mushrooms. Actually, if you want to take a bell pepper, stuff a bell pepper with some chorizo and some Gouda, okay, that would be a nice match with these cabs. Okay, question number 5, folks. We made it to the end. Saving the best for last. Question number 5, 𝗪𝗏 Valley. 𝗪𝗏 Valley is best known for its what? Are we looking at A, Cabernet Franc? Are we looking at B, Cabernet Sauvignon? Are we looking at C, Zinfandel? Are we looking at D, Merlot? So, 𝗪𝗏 Valley, So this guy, he's just a little bit north of San Francisco, and he has some of the most famous and expensive wines in the world. Why is that though? Why? So yes, Napa has great climates, right? Napa has a long history going back to the late 1800s. Has some of the oldest vines out there are actually Zinfandel vines. Those are the oldest vines that you'll find planted in the U.S. Over 100 years old, some of their Zinfandel vines. But Napa has a big reputation for its cab, right? So how the heck did all that start, right? There's a lot of debate about it, but there really was a significant moment in history. I think it goes back to 1976, right? At the Paris tasting, 1976, I believe is when it was. So I was born in 79, 76. Yeah, and so what was happening there? So the U.S. Brought some of its wines over to this Paris tasting, and it was a blind tasting, and a majority of the top wines that were picked, I can't remember if it was 6 out of 10 of the top wines, but the majority of the top wines that were picked were from the U.S. Okay, and the top white wine that took honors was Chateau, this guy over here, Chateau Montelena, okay, which was a Chardonnay that they were tasting at the time. And for the reds, it was this guy over here, so Stag's Leap Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon. So this event, 1976. Once those results came out, then you started to have, winery over winery after winery after winery, planting, and it was just the wine boom in Napa, and just for American wine in general. So very, very important tasting, 1976 tasting of Paris. So those wines, you can still buy them today, taste them today. They are quite pricey. So once you've worked your way up to developing your palate and you can appreciate Cabernet Sauvignons and Chardonnays, feel free to splurge and buy a bottle. The 𝗪𝗵𝘁 goes for about $90, and Chateau Montelena is about $85 or so. Okay, both are available at LCBO. Yeah. Now, what other Cabernets from Napa could we taste at a more accessible price point? I can do a little bit better, okay, but still it's going to be pricey. Napa is pricey for good Cabernet Sauvignon. It is pricey. So Stag's Leap Winery, okay. So Stag's Leap Winery is over here. So they're two different wineries, Stag's Leap Cellars, Stag's Leap Winery, completely different producers. But this guy here comes in at a price point of about $62, $63. He's gone up in the last decade. Okay, he used to be coming in at $45, then he went up to $50, and now he's at $62, $63. So he's gone up in price. Very well-made wine. You're going to get your cassis, you're going to get your coffee, you're going to get your licorice, you're going to get a little pencil shavings. Very complex wine. Good use of French oak in him. So, awesome wine. Maybe a special occasion wine. Okay, and to compete with that. So again, another New World wine, 𝗪𝗏's Reserve. Okay, I should have brought a bottle of it from downstairs. But we have a couple of bottles of this guy. Had the pleasure of tasting him when we went to go visit the winery. And yeah, he was my hands down favorite wine of their portfolio. So again, cassis, pencil shavings, good smoke, just excellent structure and expression of fruit was there in this wine. So and the 𝗪𝗏 comes in about $55. Okay, so $55, $63, and then you got your 𝗪𝗵𝘁 from Stag's Leap Wine Cellars, 90 bones. Okay, so now we're in a little bit more expensive territory. But if you haven't tried Napa Cab before, this is where to put your money. Okay, if you want value in the glass. Yeah. What can I say? If you're buying stuff for $20, $30, you're not going to get the real expression of the Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay, you're not going to get the terroir. You're going to get overly oaked, you're not gonna get your money's worth. Okay, so instead of buying 2 of something cheaper, put your money into one of these guys and you'll be satisfied. Okay, and pairing for this, oh man, I wouldn't. When it comes to wines like this, even though they are big, you don't want to overcomplicate and you don't want to muddle things. You really want the wine to shine. A cab like this, a simple piece of Gouda, okay, with a cab like this, and just enjoy it. Don't get confused with too many sensories. Profiles on your plate in front of you. When you're having quality wine like this, you just want to focus on the wine, something to complement the wine, and you're good to go. All right, Maestro. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. Now, shout out to our winners of the week. So we have a 3-way tie this week. We have David Spencer earning a point. We have Miles coming back to earn another point, and Michael Marino again coming back to earn another point. So, competition's heating up. I'm liking it. So next topic will be vocabulary, and so stay tuned for those. Get your answers in before Sunday night at 8 p.m. Okay, comments below. So we'll see everyone in about 5 minutes from now for the next round. Okay, until then, cheers to Valley in the Glass.